we're in this world where financial services, which is the biggest industry in the world, and it's not close, right? There's no close second, is being disrupted. Fairly certain, can never be certain, but I'm fairly certain we'll blow right through 100K. Then we'll get a really big parabolic move. Going from 250 to a million, that'll happen like fast.
Is Bitcoin set to disrupt the $7 trillion financial industry and hit $1 million faster than anyone expects? Mark Yusko shares why Bitcoin's monetary supremacy is inevitable, how its adoption will skyrocket with institutional backing, and why today's financial system is crumbling under its own weight.
Now we're in this world where financial services, which is the biggest industry in the world, and it's not close, right? There's no close second, is being disrupted. And it's a 7 trillion with a T, 7 trillion. Remember, $1 a second for 31,710 years. 7 of those babies every year gets extracted from us as users of the trust industry. Banks, brokers, insurance companies, etc. All of that is going to get disrupted, not tomorrow, but over time. And Bitcoin's just the monetary use case, digital gold, but there are other use cases to your question. But it's such an important question. Everybody's focused, oh my God, what if it hits 100K? Well, it is going to hit 100K, and then it's going to hit 200K, and then 300K. It's not about Bitcoin. One Bitcoin will always be one Bitcoin. And there's only 21 million. In fact, there probably aren't even really 21 million because there's some that are lost or stolen. But one Bitcoin is always one Bitcoin. What changes is the unit which people value it. I talk about this all the time. There's never been a bear market in Venezuela for Bitcoin because the Bolivar went straight down. So Bitcoin valued in Bolivars doesn't have the wild fluctuations like the dollar, the yen, or the euro. And right now, we're back to printing more money. And look, I think the current administration, incoming administration, is better for debt and money printing, which is actually worse for number go up. Like, people ask me, well, who do you want to win? I'm like, I actually want someone to win, but I don't really care in the short term because I don't think there's going to be that much difference. In the long term, clearly one side was going to destroy the currency. The other side, the Democrats, were well on their way to creating the banana republic. I think with a little bit of fiscal discipline, that'll make our lives better, but the number go up will be impacted because remember, one Bitcoin is one Bitcoin, but the amount of dollars we're devaluing it against will change. Absolutely no question in my mind we were getting to 6-digit BTC this year in dollars. No question. Why? Well, because fair value was going to be in the low to mid 80s, and we would blow right through that because of animal spirits. And whether we got to 110 or 120 or 150, I don't really know. It just depends how much leverage gets in the system. But this week, I'm fairly certain we'll blow right through 100K. Then we'll get a really big parabolic move, sometime between now and December. And, then it's harder to judge. I mean, we don't have that many cycles to look at, but the cycles are very consistent because humans are going to human. When the prices below fair value, investors, I like to consider myself an investor. I like to buy things below fair value. I do it for a living. And so you buy them and you just hold them. Then what happens is the price starts to rise and get closer to fair value. The traders come, movement. I need movement. I don't really care about the fair value. I don't care at all. I just want to trade. Here, they sell the production forward and the speculator has to take the other side because for every buyer, there has to be a seller. For every seller, there has to be a buyer. So speculators are not evil. They just don't care about what they're buying. They just take the other side of the sale. Well, then as the price really starts to move, this is the problem. That's when the gamblers come in. And the gamblers bring leverage, and leverage tends to accelerate the trend until such time as it ends. And I love this. Everyone looks at these parabolic charts. Oh, this is great. This is great. This is going to go on forever. Show me one, Austin. I defy anyone watching this video. Show me one chart that goes like this and then stays flat. You can't do it. They all go up and then they come down. Now, they eventually, like the Bitcoin chart, had this big parabolic move in 2013, and then it crashed 84%. And then it had a big parabolic move in 17, and it crashed 84%. And it had a big parabolic move in 21, and it crashed 76%. Now, I tweeted this out a long time ago. When you look at that 2013, right, it was a 20-fold move. It looks barely visible on the chart today. And the one from 2017 was really big, right? We went from 10,000 to 20,000 in 8 weeks. No, I'm sorry, 5 weeks. From November 6th to December 18th, we went up $10,000. in 5 weeks, just like that. And you could barely see it. Now this move eventually, and then the 21 move looked really big, and then we had the crash. Well, now we're way above this. So it's a series of higher highs and higher lows. That's the long-term adoption. And that's not going away. That's not going away.
Mark Yusko unveils how Bitcoin is positioned to disrupt the $7 trillion financial services sector, calling it the biggest innovation since the internet. While many focus on Bitcoin's price hitting $100,000, Yusko argues the real story lies in its fixed supply and growing demand. With governments globally racing to print more money, Bitcoin remains a hedge against devaluation, especially in unstable economies. Mark breaks down Bitcoin's parabolic cycles and why this volatility is actually a feature, not a bug. As institutional adoption increases, scarcity will push Bitcoin's value higher, potentially reaching $1 million far sooner than expected. Stay tuned for Yusko's forecast on what triggers the next big wave of adoption and where Bitcoin's ultimate price ceiling lies.
See, that's fast because, see, here's the thing. 100K to $1 million, it's not that big a move. It's 10X, right? I mean, it's not that it's not a big move, but it's not that big. The miracle of Bitcoin is not that it's going to hit 100K this week. It's not a miracle. It seems like a miracle. And, Dan Morehead just posted the thing yesterday. His original Bitcoin fund is up 1,000X. To go up 1,000X in anything is one of the great investments of all time, period. But 1,000X is a lot different than 10X. 10X, a lot of things go up 10X. I mean, not many, but a lot. And so that $1 million, even though the number sounds big, that move's really not even that impressive. And I think baked in, highly likely, when, don't really know. But the miracle of Bitcoin was it went from 0.003 cents to $1. That was the miracle, both in terms of multiple. Like if you were there at the 0.003 cents and you got to $1, now most people would have sold. It would have been long gone, right? Because they made, so many times their money. And there are lots of examples of people bought at 50 cents and sold at 250 and thought they were so smart. But ultimately, each incremental move, and that's why, when people show linear scale charts, I go batshit crazy. It's like long-term charts have to be log scale. They have to be log scale because going from 100 to 200, right? That's 100% increase. Going from 200 to 300 is not. So yes, it's 100,000 move, but it's only half as much. And so you have to look at log scale. So right? Innovation tends to obsolete original innovation. Now, the difference is in an open source world, in theory, if I have Ethereum and somebody does something better, right? Cheaper, faster, stronger, I should be able to copy paste whatever it is that makes them better onto mine. And that was what I was said about Bitcoin. Someone can fork it, but no one's going to go there because you want the longest chain. And if somebody actually does something better, like SegWit or whatever, you can just copy paste it in and the developers can agree and you got a better chain. So to me, Ethereum should have been unassailable, but for whatever reason, they didn't seem to react to the Solanas and the others that arguably do have faster and cheaper. And Solana's made a bunch of fixes. They still go down, but it's better. And so that's, again, long-winded way of saying, I like Ethereum, but developer activity is slowing and starting to see increased developer activity in some other chains. And someone pointed out something that I hadn't realized, that, everyone looks at the GitHub numbers and commits. Said a bunch of the commits are bug fixes, and those shouldn't really count. That's actually a pretty good point. Unless it's new development for something that's improvement, probably isn't a good indication of growth. Now, you got things like Ethereum that should be good. It's got real use cases. It's got real community. It's got real developers versus Doge, which doesn't have anything.
Mark Yusko paints a compelling picture of Bitcoin's inevitable rise as it reshapes global finance. From its disruptive potential to its unique appeal as digital gold, Bitcoin stands out as a game changer in a system ripe for innovation. The question isn't if Bitcoin will revolutionize finance, it's how soon. Are you prepared for what's coming?